Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajwa and I hope this video finds you well. If you are new to this place, please consider subscribing. And to all my returning subscribers, welcome back and thank you so much. In this video, I have two fragrances which have been purported to be dupes of Initio's Atomic Rose. One I have had for over a year and played with, and the other for about 2 weeks, and I'm still playing with it. So I have a comparison video between these two fragrances, Amethyst by Lattafa and Infini Rose by Alhambra, which is a sister company to Lattafa anyway. So these are the two fragrances I'll be talking about today to see how similar they are and if in any way any of them or both compares to Initio's Atomic Rose. So I'll just start off with the packaging, which is like quite similar, with the Infini Rose being, in my opinion, a little more sleek. You know, I don't know, I think I like the square, that structured square bottled much more than the Amethyst. They also have like the backs of their bottles just there, you know, just a replica of each other, but the fragrance bottles are quite weighty. You know, they are quite weighty too. I think this is heavier even than this one, but they are very, very beautiful. First of all, Initio's Atomic Rose has the following notes: pink pepper, Hedion, bergamot, Bulgarian rose, Turkish rose, Egyptian jasmine, Madagascar vanilla, and some amber. When you check the notes for these two, they basically have all those notes, with the exception that this particular one, which is Amethyst, has agarwood. One of the first noticeable differences you find between these two fragrances is that Infini's Rose is a rose bergamot citric combination, whilst Amethyst is a rose and agarwood combination. You get a synthetic agarwood infused with the rose in this one predominantly, whilst you get a citric bergamot and rose combo in this one. That is where you get the major differences, and those sort of differences lingers throughout the life of these fragrances. Infini Rose is quite a linear one. It doesn't change with that rose and bergamot combination, but Amethyst sort of changes over time, but it still has a prominent agarwood synthetic vibes to it. If you have ever come across any Turkish delight, then you can sort of compare them to this these two fragrances. Turkish delights normally are infused with rose water, and then you get other flavors that are, you know, added to them. To me, this Infini's Rose is like a Turkish delight with a lemon addition, while this one is like a Turkish delight with a sour sop addition. There's something bittersweet about Amethyst in the like throughout the life of the fragrance, but they have vanilla in them, which makes them a little sweet. They are not like overly sweet vanillic sweet fragrances. However, I find Amethyst to be on the sweeter note a little much more than Infini Rose. In addition, Amethyst has this animalic musk vibes to it, whilst this one has a powdery sort of musk vibe to it. There is nothing animalic about Infini Rose, but you get the animalic musky touch when it comes to Amethyst. Both fragrances are quite lovely, but if you are not a lover of oud, you might not appreciate Amethyst better or more. Amethyst gives me a combination of oud for glory and some rose scent, whilst Infini Rose by Alhambra gives me like a combination of Fleur Narcotique plus Atomic Rose, the original fragrance. The only difference I find between this and Atomic Rose is like, I feel like this one is a combination. It has a little bit of that Fleur Narcotique vibes to it, which sort of waters it down a bit. But Atomic Rose has that rose sort of tart champagne like, you know, vibes to it, but because of that infusion of what I perceive to be Fleur Narcotique, it sort of tones this one a little down, but it is much higher in terms of comparison to Atomic Rose, much more than Amethyst. In my opinion, Amethyst by Lattafa is not really a dupe for Atomic Rose. Even these two fragrances do not compare in terms of scent. They are totally different from the opening to the mid to the dry down. They are very, very different. You get a very sort of animalic rose in this one, whilst you do not get any animalic nuance in this one at all. They are totally two different fragrances. They don't compare at all. The only one which is closer to Atomic Rose is Infini Rose by Alhambra. Although Amethyst has this weird synthetic agarwood sort of vibe to it, it is still a very enjoyable fragrance. It is quite different. If you love anything with oud, you would love Amethyst. It is quite synthetic, but it's nothing that you cannot, handle, Even in the dry down, the dry down is very pretty, it's very beautiful, and that makes it a little more unisex than Infini Rose. Infini Rose is straight up bergamot or citric rose combo. It is very pretty. It is not light. There's nothing light at all about Infini Rose. They are both not light, but Amethyst is quite thick and dense as compared to Infini Rose by Alhambra. They are both very beautiful. This one has that weird opening, but it's still quite enjoyable. But this one is quite linear. Whatever you get from the beginning, you get a sort of harsh opening. It has that sharp tart opening that meets you as soon as you spray initially, but after that 3, 4, 5 seconds it settles to this beautiful citric rose combination, which is very, very enjoyable. I think they are both like all year round fragrances. Although Amethyst can be a little cloying if you overspray in the high heat. This one has not done so ever since I've tried it. It is, it doesn't come across as cloying at all, but Amethyst has that if you sort of wear it in the high heat. But they are both, to me, all year round fragrances, and at the same sort of price point. I think you get Amethyst for around $25, $30, and then you get Infini Rose for around $40 So they are quite similar in terms of their price point, and I believe this one is slightly pricier because it is newer on the market. But they are both, they are totally different fragrances. If you are looking for an alternative to Initio Atomic Rose, this is a better option than Amethyst. I'm not too sure what Amethyst is duping, but it's been known to, it's been compared to Initio's Atomic Rose, which to me it's not, after testing Atomic Rose and then comparing it to Infini Rose. Infini Rose is a much better alternative if you are looking for an Atomic Rose dupe. However, if you are looking for a fragrance which is quite unique with that agarwood or oud and rose combination, this one will fit that bill. It is quite also different and unique. So these are the two fragrances that I have, and I think they serve different purposes. You cannot compare the two. They are totally different. So they serve two separate purposes. You can mix them together. When you blend them together, they are very, very it brings out this combination, which is very enjoyable. Amethyst is quite complex, much more complex than Infini Rose. So if if you are into unique niche sort of fragrances which are quite complex for the most part, I think you would also enjoy Amethyst, which is a good one. Also, I don't find anything remotely similar to Delina, which Atomic Rose has been compared to with these two fragrances. Not even the Infini Rose. It doesn't give me Delina vibes, because I don't know, there's something about Delina. As soon as I get the rhubarb and the lychee, it's sort of it's like in a league or a class of its own. The rhubarb is also tart, but this one also has something tart about it, but it doesn't compare to Delina in any way. They are both quite different, on different classes of their own. That is how I find Infini Rose and then Amethyst by Lattafa. So that is all I have for you today, and I hope this video found you well. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye-bye.
That was a blast. Today I did well.
You did very well. Very, very well.